Next Wednesday, 9 o'clock. Here. All right. So, just a quick little warm up, just a little math refresher for you. This week we've got a formative on Friday, and then next week we'll get into hyperbolas, and that will be a summative then next week Friday, and then we're kind of in that alternating mode range of summatives and formatives. Okay? All right. So simplify and approximate is what we're talking about here. Okay? All right. So the simplifying would be like, how can I don't want to say reduce. Reduce is kind of not with this, but like, I want you to simplify it. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is, what perfect square factors are there of 12? 4 and 3, right? Or so it's 4 times 3. So this is the square root of 4 times the square root of 3. Okay? Which would be then 2 square roots of 3. Okay? So 2 square roots of 3 would be the simplified form, and you would use the simplified form in points. Okay? So we use that if we had to, like, because now we're talking c squared is the absolute value of a squared minus b squared. Okay? Right? And so we're thinking about that. We got to take the square root. C is that distance to the foci, all that fun stuff. Okay? Approximately how big, without using a calculator, that's why it's approximate, approximately how big is the square root of 12? It's between 3 and 4, closer to 3, closer to 4, right smack dab in the middle. Because it's 3 away from 9, not this way, 3 away from 9, and it's 4 away from 16, right? So it's closer to 9, so it'd be like 3.4-ish, okay? With me? And we use the approximate on the graph. Because you can't be exact when you're doing the graph, because we don't have it broken down into all the different square roots. You know, there's no scaling for that. So that's why it's approximate on the graph. It's exact and reduced and simplified in the point. Square root of 7. Can the square root of 7 be simplified? No. So that's just going to stay the square root of 7. Approximately how big is the square root of 7? Between 2 and 9? Between 2 and 3. Closer to 4 or closer to 9? Closer to 9. So 2.7, 2.8, somewhere in that range. Okay. Square root of 24. What does it simplify to be? What do you got? Simplify first. 2 square roots of 6, because it's 4 and 6. So then that simplifies to be 2 square roots of 6. And what do we approximate it to be? What? Closer to 5 or closer to 4? A lot closer to 5, a little closer to 5. 5 closer to 5, so what would you approximate it to be? 4.9, that's what I would approximate it to be too. Yeah. Right? Now, on your supplemental note sheet, you should have the lower left-hand section should have the equation of an ellipse, which is right here, because you'll need to know that equation. Tomorrow we're going to come up with these equations off of pictures. Okay? So you have that equation, and then you should have the 6 steps to graphing an ellipse. Okay? So first we find the center. Remember, the center is going to be the point H comma K. So we need to think oppositely with H and K. If they're not there, then they're what? If it's just x squared or if it's just y squared, it's 0 then. Okay, yep. Okay. Then second, we go left and right A. Remember, we have to take the square root of A, or excuse me, square root of A squared. So that's the square root of this number. And that gets us our A. We go left and right, we put dots from the center. Then we go up and down for B. Again, we take the square root of B squared. That number. Most of the time it's going to be nice. Some of the time it's not going to be so nice. Then we draw it in as best we can. We're not making diamonds. Okay? We're actually drawing in a curve. Okay? Okay? And then lastly, vertices. The last two things. Vertices. Where are the vertices? The endpoints? Okay? So whichever one's longer, the A's left and right, or the B's up and down, whichever one's longer, those endpoints are your vertices. Okay? And then lastly, we need to find the foci. And the equation for the foci, C is the distance from the center to the foci. It's C squared is the absolute value of A squared minus B squared. All right, let's put it to work. Let's graph. X plus 2 quantity squared divided by 36 plus y squared divided by 81 equals 1. We planned our work. Let's work our plan. Step number 1 said, I need to find the center. Where is the center? Negative 2 comma 0. I would concur. Negative 2 comma 0. That puts me right there as a center. Left and right, my A value. Which is 6. So left and right 6 from there. Because I'm like, there's not 36 spots on this graph. Okay, so left and right 6. 2, 4, and 6. 2, 4, and 6. My B value. So that's up and down 9. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. 4,
4, 6, 8, 9. Oh man, why did I make it so big? 4, 6, 8, 9.
Now we can draw it in. Whoa. Not the best one, but it'll work. Huh? Vertices next. Coordinates of my two vertices. -2, +9. Yep. And -2, -9. Yep. Before we do the foci work, or before we find the foci, we have to remember that c squared is going to be the absolute value of 36 minus 81. 36 minus 81. 45? 5 gets me to 40, yep, 45, yep, yeah. Absolute value of -45 is 45. So c squared is 45. So what is my c then? Three squared root of 5? And that is approximately how much? I go 6.8 because it's between 36 and 45, right? Or between 36 and 49. And it's a lot closer to 49. Yeah, I go 6.8. Okay. So putting those on my graph then, I'm going to go up 2, 4, 6, and I'm going to put an F. And I'm going to go down 2, 4, 6, and a little bit more. I'm going to put an F. On Monday, did Roth tell you to put a V by the two vertices or not? He did? Okay.
He did.
Okay. Put a V there just so you kind of got it marked on your graph. Okay.
Split like the square root of 45.
For there, yes. But not for this next part. Okay? Because now on this next part, now we're going to come up with where the actual coordinates of the foci are. Okay? And so we're adding the major axis was vertical. So I'm going to add and subtract 3 square roots of 5 to the y part of the center because my major axis was vertical. If my major axis was horizontal, then I would add and subtract it to the x part. Okay? So my foci here are at -2, comma, plus and minus 3 square roots of 5. If you wrote them out separately, that's fine. Questions, comments, concerns, clarification? You try that. All right. Center. Where's the center? -2, -1. Do we all agree with that? So that would be right there. A value. Two square roots of 5, because it's the square root of 20, which simplifies to be 2 square roots of 5. That is approximately 4.5-ish, 4.4, somewhere in that range. Okay, so that means 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll put this right there. B value. Two.
Which translates into cost, which basically translates into very severe.
Yep. It was a bad, like down south. It was producing long track tornadoes too. Yeah. So there's drawn in. Okay. Now vertices. Okay. Extended out horizontal, correct? Okay, which means I gotta add and subtract my A value to my X part of my center. So my vertices would be at -2 plus or minus 2 square roots of 5, comma, -1. You would add the B value to the Y part. Yep. And subtract, add and subtract it to the Y part. Which in this case, it would be, it would be nice. It would have been, if it was stretched out vertically, it would have been -2, comma 1 and -2, comma -2. Yeah. But because it's stretched out horizontally, we got to add that to that. In that case, write it out. Because you can actually do -1 plus 2, you know what I mean? And it looks much nicer than this. Okay? Alright? Foci then. So C squared is absolute value of 20 minus 4. 20 minus 4 is 16. The absolute value of 16 is 16. So C then is 4. So left and right 4 puts me there. So my foci, again, I'm going to add and subtract 4 now to the X part. So -2 plus 4 is +2, comma -1. -2 minus 4 is -6, comma negative. Okay. I think on your homework, we gave you spots to put in all of that stuff. Okay. So you now have the ability, you may not have the desire to, but you have the ability to complete the front side of your homework.
I I don't-